Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. My name's Dave. I have gray hair, thus, Gray Hair Dave. Came up with that all by myself. I did. I tell you, I did it. I did it all myself. So, welcome to episode 13. I'm feeling a little better now. Not too well, that's what I'm saying because I'm doing these in batches. Anyways, episode 13. What are we going to talk about today? Oh, I tell you, folks, I was looking at Chat GPT earlier, and 9 was supposed to be fashion trends, 10 was supposed to be favorite books and authors, 11 was supposed to be travel adventures, 12, yesterday's episode, was supposed to be cooking and recipes. Today I'm supposed to interview a historical figure, have an interview session with somebody who invite someone who lived through significant history. I'm not doing that one, okay? Just so you know. But anyways, back to what we were talking about yesterday, cars and driving. My first job that was not for my dad at the lumber yard was a driving job, actually. I worked for a pharmacy that my family went to for years and years and years, McKinsey Drugs. And I got a job there part-time during high school as a stocker and delivery person. So I was basically driving people their medications, driving it to their homes so that they didn't have to come in. That was a service that used to be done. That realistically, I don't believe is being done anymore. I think you'd be hard pressed right now to find a drugstore that delivers. Well, no, I take that back. I do take that back. The large corporation that I work for, there's a company that will deliver to vacationing guests or anybody else. So there is a company out there. It's called Turner Drugs. They still deliver, but they were the first ones I saw in town that ever did that. But that's okay. Good for them. I think it's a great service. I mean, think about it. If you're sick, you go to your doctor prescribes you some medication. The last thing you feel like doing is driving to the drugstore, right? Or to the pharmacy to get those drugs. You feel like crap. That's why you need them. Or if you're older and you can't get out, or if you're whatever, doesn't matter what the reason is. It should be made available to you. Also, folks, those people are providing a service, so be nice to them if you're one that uses it. Look out for them. Anyway, that was one of my first jobs. I used to stock the shelves and do the deliveries and unload the trucks when they came in. And Mac, he was the owner. He was a nice guy. I really enjoyed working with him. He took really good care of me, and I really appreciate that. Even after I stopped working for him, we still kept in contact. I still, of course, went there for all my drug uses, my pharmacy needs. Let's go with that. Because back then, you're young. What's the worst thing you're going to do? Take aspirin? Now that aspirin got bad for you and all that kind of fun stuff. But anyways, that's what that was about. So let's talk about what happened after that. Well, what happened after that is I started working at the paper mill. My sister-in-law, Mary Lou, she works at the paper mill, and I think she helped me get my job there, but I worked in the paper mill for 10 years, which is where I gained my love of heat and humidity. You work next to big, huge paper-making machines, and they use a lot of heat to dry the paper. Once it comes off the wet end, which is where it starts out as a wet pulp, and it goes through all these cycles and then dries, and then, those were the things I used to do. I used to make paper like that. The wrappers you get on your McDonald's hamburgers and cheeseburgers, I used to make those. One of our machines made paper that they used for cigarettes. Now, I think it was just the filters, but they made them for that. We were big into carbon paper. We didn't put the ink on it, but we made the paper that they made out of carbon paper, made carbon paper out of. We did a lot of that. Oh my gosh. But I worked on the machines most of my life there. And I hate to say I enjoyed it, but a lot of times I enjoyed it. I was good at what I was doing. I always thought, and that made a difference to me. Because who doesn't want to be good at what they do? But it was mechanical, it was with my hands, and it worked really well for me. Which I think is why editing audio and video is something that I really enjoy and I'm getting better at. Because it's hands-on. You know, it's moving things around, placing things here and there. I do enjoy editing, folks. I got off track here with the paper mill. I worked there for 10 years. And right after my 10-year anniversary, I retired from there. I'd had enough. I'd been injured a few times, not badly. Not badly at all. Never broke any bones, lost any parts. But I did see some terrible things there. There were guys walking around missing fingers. Guys walking around missing an arm. One of the guys, he was a foreman. He misses an arm. And there was a guy who died there in front of my eyes, which was a very, very hard thing to go through when you're in your 20s, early 20s. I think I was 25 at that point in time. I was married, but bad day. It was a very, very, very bad day. And I think about that often. I think about George, the guy who died often. He was a nice guy. Did nothing wrong to anybody. Just came in, did a good job, and went home. He was a family man. It was sad. It was sad. But my parents and my first wife were egging for me to get out of there. And I had always had this fascination and desire to work for the airlines or the airport. Ever since I saw the movie Airport with my dad, we watched it on TV. I think I said this, but I told him, Dad, that's what I want to go do. And he goes, well, only you can make it happen, buddy. So I did. I moved to Kansas City with my wife, and I went to college out there at Platt University and got an associate's degree in what is now called travel and tourism. It might even be called hospitality now. But basically, it was a travel and tourism one. And shortly after I got hired, or I graduated, I started working for Continental Airlines. The college was tough, and leaving to go to Kansas City was tough for me because both my parents were ill with cancer. Both of them had cancer. Both of them were adamant, at least what they told me, that I leave and go follow my dream. Go do this. Go make it happen. I logged a lot of airline miles the first year we were there because going back and forth visiting mom and dad after, incidents would happen. And during that time when I lived in Kansas City, of course, my parents, they lived in Michigan still. With both my brothers were still living here. And we'll get more into that as time goes by. But during that first year there, both my parents passed away. And in fact, they passed away 51 days apart. So it was a very bad time, very bad year. But after that, I went back and I graduated and I got my job at Continental. And we'll go more into that. But I learned to love flying back then, not as a pilot, but as a passenger and then a fellow co-worker. So I wasn't paying for tickets, And hey, that ain't a bad gig when you can get free tickets, right? But, I enjoyed it and it was fun and I got to meet a lot of great people. I've met presidents through that job, and I've met rock stars through that job, and I've met wrestling superstars and football teams, and it afforded me a life of a good living good friends and cool people to meet and cool things to do. It just was. It really was. So anyways, that's what happened back in those days. And the weather's better here today, and I know I'm changing subject. I didn't raise my hand. But how would you know if I raised my hand unless this was a video? I'm changing subjects, so I'm raising my hand. I think what I need to do is I need to get like a little bell or something that says, and hit it when I'm going to change subjects. One of the guys I listened to, his podcast, it's called The Big Podcast. He tells you, I'm going to talk about this and this and this and this. And when I change subject, I'm going to play this tone, this tune, this jingle, this chime, whatever. And I should start doing that too. It's a great idea. You know what they say, steal from the best. But anyways, folks, that's all I've got to talk about today. So thanks for listening. And don't forget to tell your friends about Gray Hair Dave. 5 minutes with Gray Hair Dave. It's only 11 minutes today. So we'll talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.